So they say practice makes perfect. That's bogus. Perfect practice makes perfect. And what we mean by that is that when we're talking about CCW, when we're talking about training for real life situations, it's not about just how fast you can draw and break the shot or things like that, or how accurate you are. It's about a myriad of things. It's about putting yourself through stress. It's about replicating as best as you can what real world or real life situations might be like. So when you go to the range and you have that valuable range time, it's important that you make perfect practice and not just going to the range and plinking. So what we see sometimes is we see people go to the range and essentially they practice casually. Now, if you're a CCW holder, self-defender, you want to make the best of it. So these are, first of all, this is something that we see at the range. So Brendan is going to replicate this where you have somebody who is going to have a table in front of them. They'll load, they'll make ready. Okay, they'll have their target in front of them. It's a nice air-conditioned environment, and they're going to focus all about accuracy and hitting their target. Okay, taking their time and doing all those things. Okay. At this point, I could have airmailed the rounds to the bad guy, and this is not even remotely realistic. Brendan is static. He has a nice, comfortable table in front of him. Typically, it's indoors. You have a light, you have air conditioning and things like that. It's not real, okay? Now, a lot of people will say, well, hold on a second. I can't draw from the holster at an indoor range. I can't do some of those dynamic things at an indoor range, and valid, absolutely. So a couple things that you can do at an indoor range. Say you don't have the ability to draw from the holster. Well, Brendan does have the ability to put magazine carriers on his support side hip. Most ranges have no problem with you having magazine carriers. So he can have the firearm in hand while shooting, and he can practice his couple rounds. Doing a perfectly good magazine change and practicing those things in a more real life kind of way will certainly help him out. Other things that he can do before even going to the range, since he cannot draw at the range, he can essentially go dry fire at home and practice his holster procedures. So he's going to demonstrate that now. So on the beep, this is all dry fire in at home, okay? And he can do this as much as he wants, but as you can see, drawing from the holster is not a range thing, it's not a shooting thing, it's a firearms manipulation thing. And that can be practiced and honed in on at home. So you can make the best out of your range time. Another thing that he can do when going live fire at the indoor range is we do have a port we can stand in, and it's not like a telephone booth. So he can replicate some kind of dynamic by shifting left, shifting right, shifting left or right while doing reloads, which he'll demonstrate that now. The impetus to put the firearm back in the holster, but you get the point, okay? He did not deviate outside of the table or the port, but he was able to integrate some kind of dynamic to his practice. So creating the muscle memory to want to have to move offline, move off the X while executing a reload, which is certainly a good thing to do if you can. So those are some things that you can do even with when you're at an indoor range. Did you visit the Orange County Sheriff's Department website and feel overwhelmed at the daunting application process? Well, give us a call and reach out to us, and we'll work with you and for you in order to prepare your application so you have the best chance of getting approved for your CCW.